Didn't do anything. There he goes. All right. Oh man. Part of his face. There you go. Okay, so far in the journey we've all taken together here, most of you journeyed to the land of Cholth to find an item in the wilderness somewhere and destroy it or bring it back, or really whatever you choose with. It's causing the death curse, which is causing those who have been resurrected before to waste away. You came here with Sindra Sylvain, and you met with Conga Tume, the merchant prince here in Port Nyanzaru. You then hated him right off the bat, did not like him, which is okay, it doesn't hurt my feelings. And tried to steal from him, or at least one of your party did, Morthos, who was apprehended by a cloak of entanglement and carted off to the executioner's run, where through the help of your party you managed to escape during a distraction, where you all ingratiated yourselves to Jobal, another merchant prince within Port Nyanzaru. One of your party went rogue and decided to go and make a deal on their own, while all of you were stuck watching the procession of dinosaurs. And he disappeared without a trace. Kaiser, he was gone. You were then kind of press-ganged into service with Zentam against your will, where Bishop was thrust upon you unwillingly. Many hijinks ensued. There was some iffy stuff between our gnome warlock and our monk human here. Sticky stuff, yeah, we'll say that. A potential, well, I don't know. Anyways.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
You also found another hero to kind of journey with you, Toban, the last paladin of Ubtao. And he was willing to help you with anything you guys needed, as long as you took him into the jungle.
What if it's Uchiha style? Like he just killed his entire
One of your party, though, your drunken bard, was kidnapped and brought somewhere for nefarious reasons. You guys went after her and found a secret entrance in the inn that you were staying at, where the innkeeper had been selling his patrons to the Red Robes. You guys went in, guns blazing, no stopping, no thinking, just going, killing people, leaving dead bodies, pretending to be the dead body. You managed to slay all of the thugs within, mercilessly killed the last one of them who had surrendered, and
reasons.
Toban was able to discover a hidden passageway that led to a shrine where each of you were given a vision and a quest, and also super awesome magic items, except for Shane, because I gotta figure out.
He already got one.
His doesn't work with his archetype, unfortunately. But we're gonna figure it out. Alright, so each of those visions were your own. It's a private vision. You then went forward to cleanse the last shrine of Ubtao.
After bathing in the cleansed shrine.
Well, one of you bathed, and soap, many chunks of soap were thrown at you in an attempt to get you to clean yourself. They all failed. But you regained your sanity. You regained your memories. You guys don't know this.
I lost the boogers on my skin.
Then you journeyed deeper into the bowels of the shrine through a crack in the wall, and all almost died against a strong force there. And you saw that Bardrin, your drunken bard companion, had been converted and subverted for dark and nefarious means.
I don't think it took too much. They probably just
Too
dangled
much.
like a flask
Pretty
of
drunk.
brandy.
That's it. Hey, you want some? She was seen with a large crystal embedded in her chest and had gained powers that she definitely didn't have before. You managed to slay a giant skeletal minotaur and a large shadow demon, and after you finished and stopped the corruption and hopefully reversed it, a large bright light enveloped all of you, and that's where we are now. Alright, so the light envelops all of you, and you kind of feel by the light of a moon, the floor underneath of your feet has changed. And you can start to hear noises of birds calling and dinosaurs roaring in the distance. And you find yourself in a broken shrine right outside of the town of Port Nyanzaru.
So we're no longer in city limits.
You guys are like,
We're outside
okay,
the
so
wall.
like the old city doesn't actually have a wall. You guys are like right past where most of the stuff goes on in the old city. So like the jungle has kind of reclaimed this portion of probably what used to be a beautiful shrine to town.
So what you're saying is there are undead and zombies and dinosaurs and undead dinosaurs.
Roll a perception check.
Yes. What dice do I need?
D20, and then add your perception modifier.
Yeah. I perceive everything.
That's high enough. That's 15. You don't see anything within the direct vicinity. You can hear things in the distance, but they keep things back from this area pretty well.
That's good.
It's pretty close to the gate.
Is there like other people inside the shrine, like worshippers, or is it just
No, it's like crumbled down with like vines, kind of really like they're helping to destroy the stone that was here before. It's been centuries since Utao has seen worshipped on Shulth.
This is all Utao shrine.
Yep, it is a shrine to
Well,
Who tells the dragon?
Weren't we supposed to go meet the merchant princess?
Like we were supposed to go meet the beggar princes
Oh, the beggar princess.
in order to get them to try to
to get help.
in order to get help to try to
leave the city.
yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
At this
okay.
point, we just need to go.
They were supposed to help you guys to find the Red Robes. And because they had requested help from the Zentam to deal with the Red Robes.
We'll have to go back and collect our money later.
Do we still care about Bridget at this point? Like, is anyone even going to go want to remember what just happened?
We'll run across her.
Does the Zentham have like secret? I mean, they're a gang, so do they have like secret hand
Yes.
signal communication?
There's ways like the Zentam, like a lot of the places here, they carry these metal like sigils that they can kind of like flash at each other, and the Zentam does have one of those.
So would I assume that Tuban would know if I was to flash one of those at him? What? Basically, telling him we need to speak in private.
Roll a sleight of hand check, and just to see if you can do this without alerting others.
It's a 5. So
You guys see Bishop kind of flash a shiny metal disc at Toban, whose eyes widen and shakes his head.
He's like, no. I don't want
I'm gonna go to the edge of the cathedral, I guess, and just peer out like not towards the city, but towards the jungle, just to see.
It's a pretty thick jungle. Like some of the trees have been cut down near the edge for wood, and it's a little bit foreboding. You know that right now you guys are north of the city. A little bit further north lies Fort Valerian.
Does Toban happen to come to take in the ambiance with me, or is he just?
Toban's actually kind of standing there, like as you guys are kind of wandering around, and he's kind of clutching that amulet with kind of like his newfound faith, like he knows that Utah's there, and he kind of looks at each of you. Each of us has secrets that we hold within ourselves. If we are to accomplish the tasks that we set out to do, we must share our secrets with each other. I cannot force
I
anyone
was
to do
molested
it.
by an old god.
That makes sense.
I had this shit.
I like I said, now I have greater understanding of who you are.
Do you feel me?
I know
Not yet.
You will.
each of you were provided with a vision, as was I. Those visions are your own, but if you choose to share it, let us share it now and have it out in the open.
So I kind of look at the horizon, big sigh, kind of like kick some rocks up, and turn around and walk towards the group. I don't know what happened to Kaiser, but I can tell you that his fate probably didn't meet a justifiable end. The last time I saw him, I was paralyzing him on Jabal's floor. But Kaiser's ideas were his own. I think, he went outside of what y'all probably wanted and made deals with the Zentham that maybe didn't meet the same ideals that y'all wanted. I'm here to make sure that the ideals of Jabal are met, but now I question what exactly ideals Jabal has. We're to meet a guide. Do I have knowledge of where said guide is, or?
You know that he was out. He was on an assignment out in the jungle. You don't know much beyond that because you don't really do anything outside of the city. You know that he was in fact coming to Fort Valerian, but Kaiser was probably not going to beat him, and he is a good guide, but he does firmly work for Jabal.
So this is a predicament we have. The guide will kill you all for the map that you may or may not have, and from what I saw, you have a map with a burnt hole in it. But the guy does not care. The guy works with the Zentham, and he'll kill you all to acquire it for Jabal. He is headed, or was suspected to be headed towards Fort Valerian, which is the same direction that Kaiser, the last I heard, was sent to acquire knowledge of areas in the jungle that may hold this artifact that y'all seek. I care not for this artifact. The only thing I care for is more information of my past. And I turn towards the bond. We have our differences, but I would like to know more of what your God has to say.
Ubtao has shown me much, and I think if we follow his direction, we can find information that we all seek.
I'm not held to whatever quest that Cinder sent you on, but maybe the direction we head may lead us to the same destination. Okay.
For you guys, it was a little bit, especially yours, it was more like, you're already a pretty good person. He just kind of acknowledged that you're an adventurer and you're in for it. Yours was more about the prejudice that you experienced being a tiefling. Really, it was these two that had the kind of big visions that showed them that they have more, You want to get that old compact.
So, let's see.
Shameless finished.
We don't roll them.
I'm tired of
I don't know yet. I'm rolling to see if I can see a path into the jungle.
Okay, go for it. Perception check.
That's 13.
You can actually see that there's a path that leads towards the beach, and it kind of goes down and meanders a little bit. So it's not really into the jungle, but that's the only path that you can perceive that's around you.
That's away from.
It's heading north, so away from Port Answer toward that peninsula up there.
One over
I
here.
need to be going towards.
One thing we should probably know is that I myself is still in service of the Zentham as far as they know, and I kind of take out a stone. This stone here allows me to communicate with Azon. And I was supposed to let him know and keep tabs on y'all's direction. And one direction that he thrust upon me to try to drive you through was Fort Valerian. I know ways to get to Valerian outside of the jungle, but the problem is that if the Zentham know that my direction is against the way that they want me to go, they may kill us beforehand. So we need to make sure that we're all on the same page, and we act as if no one knows anything about the other, and when the time comes, if we acquire said guide, then once he gives us what we need, we dispose of it.
That sounds
Sounds
like a
like
good
a
plan.
Definitely not above our total paladin.
Utao is a neutral. Oh,
Sweet. More blood for the blood god.
So this path that I know to Fort Valerian, is it through the jungle or is it through
through the city.
the city?
Yeah, there's a secret entrance that you know of in Malar's throat that can take you underground to Valerian, avoiding the dangers of the jungle.
I got that wrote down. I don't know why.
Oh,
There's
you
a
know
bunch
why.
of stuff in Malar's throat because you guys were looking for a guide that
Yeah.
wasn't on the Craigslist, as you guys put it, on the bulletin board, and there were other guides within Malar's throat, and the albino dwarf guide was in Malar's throat.
That's
Jabon, even though your knowledge doesn't outweigh your muscle,
He chuckles.
You're right, you're right.
is there any other shrines around here that you know of that we may need to visit before we leave this
Yeah.
cursed city?
yeah, this one right here.
I
I'll
think
pull
that's
out
a
my
mine.
I'll pull out my map.
All right, so he pulls out the. Do you pull out the map with the hole in it, or do you pull out the
Yeah.
regular map?
The one with the whole.
Okay, you pull out the map with the hole in it.
I'm not-
You actually have that, so I'll let you pull it out. Yeah, it'll be easier to see. So you ask that of Taban,
Yeah.
and he kind of thinks for a moment. He says, "I do not know of any shrines that exist near us, but in the Temple of God within Port Nyantra, there's a man, Grandfather Zatumbe.
Who?
Grandfather Zatumbe.
That name sounds familiar. I don't-
Taban's told you guys about it like 4 times. He's like, I gotta talk to him first before we leave. But he has much knowledge of this land. He's very old. But I do also know that he has great power from his god, and he can help us to find things that we are looking for.
And he's in the city.
It's in the Temple of God.
So we meet with this grandfather, we gather provisions, and we go to Fort Valerian to acquire this guide, and we use said guide to take us to destinations that will answer our questions.
How can we thwart his?
I swear to God that you're going to say twerk.
Work.
Do we meet this guide, or do we find another?
He's the best guy we can find. I think with the Zentham, because they can't do like detect lies over a stone, right?
No. The only you guys are all adventurers. You kind of know there are spells and potions that you can use to create a zone of truth, but they are
have to be
around. Yeah.
So if I play my card as if I don't have any knowledge of what Jabal and Azon have done, then I could communicate with them and get the best guide that this Cholt can offer.
But what about his stone?
He's not going to know any different.
Yeah, he's not gonna.
I'm not going to tell him any different. If he says, let's kill Morthos tonight, I'm going to be like, let's do it. And then somehow we'll do like this, which will mean tonight it goes down, sleep with one eye open.
Taban's like, we should have a code.
No, I meant him telling Jabal or where we're going. Because if you tell him one thing and the guide tells him another,
Does the guide have a sending stone?
Yes.
of his own?
Well,
Yes.
Does the guide shouldn't even know. The only thing the guide, as far as I know, is he is here to acquire your map. That's the only thing Jabal wants is your map. So the guide knows no different. So we use the guide for as long as we can, get where we need to get, and then
dispose of him.
we just hope for the best from there. But by then, hopefully, we'll have more boons and blessings from Utao, and maybe in one of our deep metaphorical conversations with Utao, we can ask for more enlightenment with destination.
Okay.
Plus, your friend Kaiser, even though I only met him briefly, he may be in Fort Valerian.
Yeah. It seems that
He was kind of a dick.
You're not wrong.
Tavon's not like Kaiser. Like that.
The name fort is
So the fort's
It- it-
owned by the
The Burning Fist.
Burning Fist, which came there to give protection. They were just like a hired force, right, to help
by the
hold the
Xanthian.
So-
undead.
And the Burning Fist, and you would know this. The Burning Fist is probably the largest presence within the jungles of Chult. You have to have an explorer's charter from the Burning Fist. If you don't, if a patrol comes across you in the wild, well, here I'll say this: if you do have one, and a patrol comes across you in the wild and you're in danger, they'll help you, and they'll help give you supplies. They'll do whatever. If you don't have one, they seize all of your supplies and leave you in the jungle and tell you, "Come to Fort Valerian if you want your stuff back." Like literally, they're dicks.
Better luck next time.
So we use all the assets we can.
That's
We
what
don't
you
have to
like.
be a part of them, but we use them to
I
our
can
best
see that,
knowledge. Just
yes.
like the Zentham was going to use me as well as y'all to get to what Syndra wanted.
Alright. So, sounds good.
Little known, you're speechless. Do you have anything to say?
I think we should. Yeah.
Tie a rope around you and just gag you so you don't.
You have to
So
understand.
You guys
I'm
have
not
noticed his lesions have all healed,
clean.
and he's actually cleaned,
Very
and he's
clean.
speaking in ways that make some sense.
I'm still getting
You're
used
still
to
touched
this.
by the old one. So.
Listen, we don't talk about that. None of you. I'm still getting used to my current consciousness. You know, it was always there.
Does
But
he have knowledge
I'm
of
about
his
to
other?
put something.
Does he have knowledge of what he's been doing?
Wait, yeah, no.
Oh, Jerry, yeah, he remembers. It's kind of like because it's a curse. It's like he's trapped in the back of his head.
So he's
And
like there screaming no. As
Yeah, like
the other
no!
kid's giving me a massage.
Yeah, exactly.
No, wait, go lower.
Well, I mean,
Go
like,
lower.
I don't know. I mean, that might be what he's into. I mean, what do I know? Playing pranks.
Since I've been dispelled, as long as, well, this is here, I guess. That's what the dude gave me. I'm not going to tempt fate and take it off. I'm still taking a moment to, you know, register this stuff. You know, I'm just falling off for a little bit. I have no intentions of murdering you. I know that's what I probably looked like beforehand, you know, rub the lotion on the skin kind of thing, but that's really not me. Just let me get used to myself. I'll help y'all as best as I can.
What time of day is it?
It's kind of strange. So you guys went in. And it was it was early in the day. It is very late in the day now. So the sun is kind of just beginning to, you know, start to disappear beyond the trees. So you've got a little bit of time left yet in the light, but you can start to hear the night creatures beginning to become active and things like that.
And Vaughn, he knows where grandfather is, and he could lead us back into the city to him.
I can lead you to grandfather's tomb. You guys, you guys would remember this. The Temple of Gond was where all of the high prince or the merchant princes' houses were. It was on that like raised plateau near the old city.
As he said that, my belly growled, and I kind of. Well, what are we waiting for?
Fatty.
Should we go to the beggar's throne and get some dinner?
Sure.
I think we should before
I
we
should
come to-
probably contact Azon.
I will.
I say that out loud. Just I need to remain in contact with him.
But don't tell him we had a battle.
I'm not. I'll figure something out. So let's go to the beggars.
I was gonna say before you speak to Azon, should we visit the beggar princes? That is what they assigned us.
It may help
Yeah.
justify or at least make it more believable that what
Maybe
I'm
they'll give us
doing.
money.
Jabal was fronting us as much as what we did.
Jabal was paying for the expedition. And he
Should
paid
still
for
not
all
take
the
it.
supplies you would need. But like it's not like a credit card. Like you can't just be like, I want to buy 1,000 scimitars. You know, like it's like he's like it'll all be ready for you once you meet your guy.
Okay, that's a real thing. Just give me all this one.
Yeah.
Well, the beggar princes were something that I needed to do before I got entangled into this mess. They did have reasons to be rid of the red priests or the red cloaks. So maybe their knowledge of us helping eradicate them from a local shrine might help. although it might give Jabal maybe suspicion that we've been in contact with forces beyond our control. So,
I do not think we should tell Azon or Jabal of the shrine.
Yes.
Or with the red priests. I'm not red
Good
priests, or
tell.
the beggar princes. If we tell them,
That shrine was well hidden. If they knew it was there, they knew much more than we did, which was nothing.
so we just basically tell them that the red cloaks met an unfortunate end and they shouldn't be bothering them.
We did kill all of those operatives that were within
That we found that were low
But-
So, yeah, we can tell them that part. That was
But-
within the
And then we
building.
can just be like, by the way, we work with the Zentham, and then that'll clarify the reasoning I was there.
You're talking about the beggar
Beggar
prince
princes, yeah.
that we took care of all. But what about that magic woman? She did have a book. Was she creating more red robes? And look what they've done to Bartram.
When we questioned the thug that was there,
who knew nothing.
he did say though that he had been hired and that
Not
they were
converted.
a criminal organization and he did not know of their other purposes.
So chances are they're not really converting so much as hiring.
Right. So yeah.
Should we break to get this all done in a quick manner? Should we break into groups?
No, negative. Clearly, none of us can survive on our own very long.
Well, one group can go to Bond. This idiot's been here long enough.
I've been here a long
It would
time.
be split into two, where you, who knows everything about this
It's a
area,
Bond. I've looked to Bond's ass all over these streets.
That's
He
not what I'm
knows.
saying. What
He
I'm saying
knows.
He seems much more tolerant now. He's like he's gained some peace.
we should either stay with Turban or stay with you. But I'm thinking we should stay with Turban so that you can go and do your sneaky stuff and talk to the beggar princes. Because if we show up with a whole group and a freaking paladin,
Why not?
they might get scared.
We have
Yeah.
two members of our group who both have knowledge of underworld dealings. Morthos and Bishop. Each of you,
Who knows how to get caught?
each of you,
Morthos
could go-
got abducted by Wakanda when he first entered the city.
I heard that.
Everyone's
It was
heard
all
that.
part of my plan.
Reverse
but each of you could speak to the beggar princes, and we could go and meet Grandfather Zatumba.
Well, they would definitely take a tiefling into consideration.
He's got his
Did
back
you have your hat on?
baseball cap and put on.
Do you have your hat on?
I put my hat on.
All right. What are you? Just a human? You can do whatever you want. It's
Be
like-
shady. They'd love that. They're all into role play.
Really, like with tieflings, it's like anything other than tiefling is fine. Other than like goblins or kobolds and things like that.
Rude.
Well, let's see what I want to be. What do the beggar princes prefer?
Ugly, shady.
I do
boring.
not know much of them, but I do know that the two
I think a dragon,
hermits-
like a dragonborn or a dragon.
a half dragon, or you could
Like
look
the-
similar to the harbor master.
Well, they worship reptiles almost in the same
Yeah,
sense. So
yeah. So yeah, let me.
What color do you want your scales to be?
You give me
Bronze? Bronze half dragon, you are.
It'll be apparent. If they like that guy, then they'll love you for that. Just don't tell them that you ripped it off of them.
So, if he gives me the scale of the harbor master, would I automatically know what a gold dragon scale looks like, or what am I just
I'm
gonna?
trying to think of the check. An investigation check.
Oh God.
17 plus what? Wisdom, I think.
It looks
Yeah,
very,
it's
very similar to the harbor master's color because there's not. I mean, it's a very bright gold, and it's not something that, especially like pretty much all of you in your travels have met, Dragonborn or what Draconian? What are they? Dragonborn?
Draconic.
Well,
Draconic people? I can't.
well,
Those
draconian.
Draconians. There we go. And their scales are not quite as lustrous as this, so it does look like something special.
Where did you get this little one?
The harbor master kind of just gave it to me after I commanded him to do so. I didn't really command him. I was just like, "Give it here," and he was like, "Okay."
You hold much power for such a frail body.
When did you speak to the harbor master?
I remember sitting at the end of a dock for like 5 hours, maybe 3. I can't quite remember.
The dinner. Is that where you were at the whole
I
time?
think it was.
Oh.
Which dinner?
At least you
I
have.
missed a few.
At least you have a good excuse.
Well, I talked to him, and he said I needed to speak to somebody named Nanny Poo Poo, which made me chuckle inside
Nanny
my
Poop.
own mind.
Toban has a spark of recognition.
I remember asking about hags. I know that I have a dealing with hags. I remember something about my form coming from
Okay.
hags.
Quite a few dealings with hags.
Ah, yes,
Yeah, when you
yeah.
nudge him, it's really like you're nudging him in the side of the head. Tick, tick.
And lastly, he said something about Naga worshipping some sort of tool, something really powerful. So, best I can gather, we got 3 checks for reptilian, nasty, and dark. And then he gave me the. It wasn't a 2, that was a scale.
Here, roll an insight check on yourself.
Is that 20?
Yeah. And then add your insight bonus.
Passive perception 14. 16.
This is a new sheet. It's
Yeah,
probably
I
on the back. I think.
transcribed everything from this paper.
Nope.
Here.
No, it's all just
Okay.
The original one.
keep that out.
16
Lots of-
plus insight 6. Wow. Okay, so I'll tell you, and this is just
Natural
for
20. Unnatural.
So he told you, you kind of peer back into your madness, and you do remember he spoke of the hag Nanny Poo who lived in, that is her name, it's in the book.
He can't apologize anymore.
It was in Mabal, okay? And then he told you of the Guardian Nanga in Nangalore, and then he also told you, when you asked about the old one, of the lost city of Onu, where the snake people were trying to bring about something terrible.
So I regurgitate all that because I have way too many syllables that I can barely remember. But more importantly, I need you guys to understand that the snake people, we need to go to them so bad because of what he just said, and I can't remember because words that I've never heard.
He
Toban,
he thought that the best place for you guys to find that item you're looking for was in Omu.
Who's he?
Harbor Master.
The Harbor
Omu?
Master. Yeah.
Taban is Omu. Is that a place of Tau worship?
Negative.
I have not heard of a city called Omu. But that is the question we could ask Grandfather was the tomb bearer.
So, me and Morthos, the weak-fingered stealer.
I slash my tail. Do I have a tail?
Well, yeah, because you normally have a tail, and then you've also got a fake tail.
Flicks
So
his tail.
it hurts a lot more than that big tail that you saw swinging at you. You thought would. There you go.
Me and Morthos will go to the Beggar Princes, finish up what we need to do there. But make sure that the Zentham know that we still have a direction that best suits their needs. And then y'all help Taban so I can make sure he stays alive longer so I can whoop his ass later. Because regardless on if I know my past is a lie, I know that 2 months ago I whooped his ass and whooped his ass again. So.
I do have spare the dying. So I'm sure we can arrange that.
There it is.
So see
Taban just casually flicks him upside the head with a very heavily plated finger.
So before we dispatch in our ways, is that dragon skull?
He gave it to me.
I did. You have it.
He
But
needs
Show
to,
it.
to show it to the.
Why do you do the dragon skull?
Because if you guys are going to a draconian area and they all seem to like the draconians, I can't imagine anyone more cool than the harbor master who just straight up looked at a big ass reptile and said, and it chilled out.
So maybe to show favor.
Probably the more you should go with Taban.
I don't know. If you guys are going,
He's going to the Utau X.
This is the Temple of God.
So,
But we're going into the part of the city, to the better part of the city.
I'm
Y'all
just
are
going to some people that run the underworld, or at least run the homeless.
right, exactly.
So-
And
That's why you need to take it.
definitely, because they're going to respect that guy. I'm sure, like, the harbor master of all people is somebody, being a big lizard, that other smaller lizards are probably going to care for, considering that he's not overly rich and run by the Zentham or any other kind of affiliation. Plus, he knows some shady stuff unto himself about the Naga and the Temple of X worship.
We'll take that.
So there you go.
We'll go with that.
All right, so we'll do
Naga, please.
Beggar Princess first because they're closer, so you guys would get there first, and then we'll all head to the Temple of God. All right, cool. So we each kind of head our separate ways. As we pass the ziggurats, do you guys want to go to the left ziggurat or the right ziggurat first? So to describe the ziggurats, large stepped stone
Left.
temples. All right, cool. Left. And as you pass, you see the market's kind of beginning to tone down a little bit out here. Because last time you guys passed through here, you could see there were shops everywhere and domiciles and places to eat and things like that. They're beginning to close up. As you ascend the steps, you get to a point where you're kind of towards the final plateau where it leads up to a small building on top. And there are two burly-looking gentlemen in dark garb that are just kind of standing there.
On the way there, I'm storyline-wise, let's say like if I had a necklace, is there any way I could weave the necklace around that scale just to make it
Even more enticing.
Yeah, so you kind of, as you're
Just
doing
so
it,
it's
taking a
visual,
slow
yeah.
walk, you're kind of beginning to twine this around your beads.
Yeah.
So they can see now you have the dark beads with a small scale.
scale dude. Okay. So we're up to get to the guards, and he's in.
They're kind of looking at
Disguise.
you like, what you want?
Is that a Cockney accent?
No,
Please.
this is dumb. I can try it.
Do a Cockney.
What you want?
I have
Whoa,
business with the beggar princess, and I'm quite famous.
Oh, actually, now I think about it, I've seen your picture around here. But who are you?
It doesn't matter who I am. It matters on what we need to have accomplished.
Listen, we don't just let people who kill dinosaurs and randoms come up and see the princess.
Random.
What's your business here?
Kill dinosaurs? What are you talking about?
Which in turn will help your employment.
That's not
No,
how
but
you-
I'm a dragon.
He doesn't recognize
Oh, I'm sorry. Damn it.
Soiled it.
Alright.
Soiled it.
Rewind. Alright. It were both of you random Isn't that scary, eh?
Thank you, man.
Alright.
You hear my belly grumbling.
What's your business here? What do you need to speak to the beggar princess about?
We work for the Zentham, and the beggar princesses have asked the Zentham for help with some issues. So we're the liaisons between two said organizations.
He narrows his eyes
What's a liaison?
and he goes,
What's up?
you got your mark.
Excuse me?
Inside.
The little metal thing.
Oh.
You got your mark.
Pull it out.
Wiggle it.
Alright. Follow
Do
me.
you have a
I
shaman?
rolled the insight check.
What are you trying to discover about him?
If his accent's fake.
It is totally fake. I don't know why he's affecting a comedy accent. What are you trying to figure out?
If I can persuade him to give me his gold, I don't know.
Here we go back to the.
No,
He's executioner, right?
Wait till you get to the
So what
prayers.
are you saying? But
No.
You're disrespecting my honor. Pay with your money or your life, stand or deliver. And
To
deliver.
see if he has, to see if he's suspicious.
after he was suspicious when he first walked up, but after he
His
saw
job.
the mark,
Yeah.
the Zentam mark, he's been told that he was supposed to wait for one of them to come. He wasn't told who, but he seems now like he's suspicious because it's his job,
Yes.
but he's taking you up to the higher plateau. All right, so do you guys follow him?
Yeah, sure.
All right,
This
so
I just turn around.
the other guard stays where he's at and kind of steps into the middle of the pathway after you guys pass. You walk up the last steps and you come to the top, and it ends in a flat top, and there's a small building there. All around the sides, though, there's similarly black-garbed figures making dinner and talking and joking and laughing. And then in front of the entrance to the building, there are two more figures that are heavily hooded, and it's very difficult to see their faces. It just kind of looks
Can
like
you
they're
do
just-
that like?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see in the dark?
Can you
Yeah,
It's
is it like
very
magical?
difficult to see. to see their
Give a
their
perception check.
faces.
Let me know if they smell bad wearing all that
That would
heavy
be-
armor.
That would be your thing. You gotta know.
They're thugs. They all smell bad.
No perception
So
required.
are they like standing up, like talking in a group amongst themselves?
There's a lot of people. The two that are standing at the door are standing silently.
Like sentinels.
They're waiting there
Oh,
in
they're
a
so
similar
watching.
fashion to the ones that were waiting at the base of the stairs, but very still. And
I wouldn't mess with those two fellows right there.
And those aren't the
Exactly.
ones that are in the garb that you can't see through.
those are the ones.
Those
yeah.
are the ones.
Mhm.
So I just kind of walked up and flashed the Zentham marking.
They both move to the side,
See, this is where they would get you in the city. Hang on
and
more.
you.
You might actually be able to steal from somebody.
Child, maybe.
Okay.
So I kind of glance over my shoulder and make sure they're not like.
Everybody
following us.
seems to be like, as they noticed, everybody kind of noticed you guys as you come in, but especially once the two at the door allowed you to pass, they immediately go back to what they were doing.
Oh yeah. Can I roll a perception check just to see if I see anyone like out of the ordinary that might be paying more attention to us than the rest of the people
Go
that are
for it.
in the
And you look. And
3.
You
so
catch a hellish
I'm looking
review
at-
for looking
I'm
at
looking
What
at
is
my
it? 3
feet.
plus what?
Perception was wisdom.
You're
right?
too busy.
Wisdom.
You're too busy
So
flashing.
5.
All right, so it only strikes you for just a moment, but you see somebody on the corner of the building, kind of leaned against it. That's kind of like
Elwood
sidelining you guys
Forest.
a little bit. That's not participating in the revelry.
Elwood Forest.
Oh yeah, there you go. This is my favorite one.
I kind of nod to Shane. The one with Morthos, the one over there. He stands out.
You suck.
Where? Where is he at?
Huh?
I
so-
just nod my head back like, yeah, I see him.
Both of y'all catch a freaking hellish rebuke for looking the wrong way.
All right, so are you guys entering the building?
Yeah, we'll enter.
All right, so as you enter, you see. Well, actually, roll a perception check real quick. One more. Both of you guys can do.
The hellish rebuke crits.
Finally.
9 plus.
Okay, 18.
12.
You see that same figure that he pointed out to you. His cloak kind of. It's like he goes around the corner. And you see it kind of flutter behind him a little bit.
Or in the corner of like the ziggurat.
So like yeah, big square ziggurat. You guys are entering here. He was standing here. He went.
Is there anybody walking with us?
No, not at this point. You guys are
The
just
guard
walking
just let
into.
us go in. So are we inside a room and the guy is outside?
No. So it's kind of like as you're entering the threshold of the building, and your
Okay.
vision is cut off from the side. You see him disappear.
So with all my dealings here in the city, death always lurks around the corner.
I think, yeah, this might be a setup. Not
But
at all.
the beggar princes have been fairly. I mean, they have been trustworthy individuals. somehow.
They've been a force in this city for a long time, longer than the Zenton, and they are known for having large networks of eyes and ears.
They're little birds.
And mouths and nose, head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
What?
Sometimes,
They're little birds.
yeah, they're little birds. They would
Is
probably
best-
actually like the equation. Just of birds.
So I just kind of whisper to Morthos, it's best for us is to play our parts in the eyes of others.
So as you guys enter the room, it is a.
Well,
it's
he
a-
don't know who I am.
That's
look
true.
like-
He's just some dude. Some half dragon, bronze
You think
half
I don't
dragon.
have to detect?
Might be-
See right through you.
So as you guys enter the room, it's not a large room, but it's relatively it's a medium sized room. You can see it's lit entirely by candles. So it's kind of in this dim, light that would probably be romantic if it was in a nicer setting. It's not. And you can see there are a group of black-garbed figures, and you can see in their hoods, talking to a gentleman that's sitting on a. It's an elevated chair, but it's plain. It's not a throne.
Do I recognize who this man is?
When we came in, there's nobody around, right? So they couldn't see us.
No, you guys. They're all talking on the other side of the room. So
nobody could
the
see us.
sentinels are behind you. I mean, the sentinels see you. because they'd let you in.
I mean, but once we get past them, are they like?
They kind of go back to doing their duty. Yeah, nobody's paying attention to you really.
Okay. So I got this stall here.
Hope it's not stealing.
It's not. I'm gonna change my appearance to look like these guys at the door. And let you go talk to the main boss and be your backup. I'll just stand like up against the wall.
They're gonna be like, you stupid idiot.
What do you think?
And what is that going to?
I have no clue. But
If you want to do that, roll sleight of hand.
I don't know.
I hope you fail miserably.
Huh?
He comes out
To
looking
save
like a
him.
mongoloid.
No.
Oh, he's.
He rolled big boy numbers this time. All right, so they are still very engrossed in their conversation, and you now appear very similar to the sentinels that were at the door.
All right.
So you
I
can,
guess before I answered your question, then, Porthos. So, do I recognize the guy on the seat getting fanned by the big
You
palm
have
tree?
never met the beggar princes before,
But I
so
know
he
because I
doesn't
picked
appear to
his
you?
the left ziggurat, so
Yeah.
I know who's at the left ziggurat.
Yes. So the beggar prince that his domain is there. His name is Kogo.
Kobo,
Kogo.
Kogo, even more.
I'm just in earshot, I guess, right? I can hear you from this side.
Sure.
All right.
Standing guard.
Don't try to steal from anyone. You suck.
Kogo,
Kogo.
So as you say that, they all kind of start and look towards you, and Kogo recognizes you. You're whatever the heck your name is pronounced as. You're Bishop.
Beast
and-
Hop Nuka Luka.
He kind of does this, and he doesn't say anything to you, but he beckons this way, very slowly. Kind of weirdly. All right, and then we're gonna stop there for a moment and move on.